Hey everyone, if this is your first time here, then welcome to the channel. I want to share with you the 5 different ways that I use one of my favorite ingredients of all time, probably the longest standing ingredient in my skincare beauty routine, and that is tea tree oil. I've been using tea tree oil now in some way, shape, or form for over the last 20 years. It has been with me pretty much since my first pimple. So since then, I've had a little bottle or several around my house. It's antimicrobial, antibacterial, and antifungal, and it's been used in medicine in various different ways for centuries. Pretty much from head to toe, there's a beneficial use for tea tree oil. But as much as I love this stuff, and before we launch into the 5 different ways that I use tea tree oil, I cannot stress enough the disclaimers. If you've ever been smelled it before, you know how incredibly strong that scent is. And the scent is not just for show. It is a very, very intense, powerful essential oil. And with essential oils, you are supposed to add it to a carrier oil. And this is also where I'm going to segue into a do as I say, not as I do type of situation, because I have not ever used tea tree oil mixed with a carrier oil. I do not do this. I am telling you the different ways I like to use tea tree oil, but if you're going to be using it, I highly suggest that you make sure that you add it to a carrier oil and dilute it. Don't use it full strength like I do. My skin luckily has been able to tolerate it over the years that I've been using it, but for your safety, your benefit, I do not recommend that. When diluting tea tree oil, it says that you can mix it with a carrier oil at a ratio of 1 to 2 drops of tea tree oil to 12 drops of carrier oil. Some common carrier oils include coconut, jojoba, argan, almond, and olive. And you can also use witch hazel as a carrier oil to give the mixture like a toner consistency. Undiluted tea tree oil can cause allergic reactions, dryness, blisters, and rashes. And it is strong enough to where I can definitely see that being a possibility for a lot of people. So again, make sure you dilute it, do a patch test, check with your doctor, check with your dermatologist, and do your research if you want to dive into using tea tree oil and you never have before. It works for me, but there are people out there who have allergies to tea tree oil and sensitivity of using it when it's too strong. It's so strong, in fact, that although I've seen a few things online to the contrary, overwhelmingly it is not recommended that you ingest tea tree oil. It can be highly toxic if you do. And I have a little, I don't know how I'm going to dance around this story for YouTube, but it all makes sense. I have seen firsthand that you are not supposed to ingest tea tree oil. Even in a small amount, it can have detrimental effects to your health. So now that I've gotten my disclaimers about this awesome yet very like proceed with caution essential oil out of the way, let's jump into my #1 way that I use tea tree oil. Now, as I mentioned, I discovered tea tree oil when I was 12 years old. My mom and I were in the body shop. I had started to get in like my first little smatterings of pimples and acne. We walked by the body shop and saw this big display about tea tree oil, and we were very intrigued. Tea tree oil body wash, face wash, toner, which as you can see, yes, over 20 years later, I'm still using, but I found out recently that the Body Shop, of course, things happen with formulations, has changed the ingredients on this, which is very sad. This has probably been the skincare product that I've used the longest in my whole entire life. This is the Body Shop Tea Tree Skin Clearing Toner. It's got like cornstarch in the back here, which is really good for mattifying the skin if you have any like oily areas like in your T-zone. But this is very refreshing. It helps to get off any dirt that my facial cleanser didn't get. If I'm in a pinch and I just don't feel like doing anything to my skin at night, I'll do a quick swipe of this if I just can't be bothered because I'm just exhausted, and my skin is left feeling very soft, not tight at all. I don't know if I will purchase it again based on the ingredients that I saw yesterday, but I still have 2 more bottles of the original that I've been using left. So that is a problem for future Ashley to deal with. But I also picked up just 100% tea tree oil as well, and this has been my most used acne product over the years. For if I have a pimple, you guys, we're gonna get really personal in this one. I had a giant witch's boil, like medieval pimple on my nose. Like every family member that saw me this week was like, you know, you get a pimple? You know, you get a giant pimple? Of course I do. I can see it out the corner of my eye. So it was, needless to say, this is in the we're almost done phase, but it was huge. So I used some pimple patches, which have been new in my skincare routine, but over the years, I will just add pure undiluted tea tree oil to the pimple, and it has done better for me than salicylic acid, benzoyl peroxide. This dries out the pimple, but not in a way where the skin underneath, once it's healed, is worse off. My skin returns back to normal. It's not dry, it's not irritated. This just gets into the actual area where the pimple is, dries that out, and helps to speed up the healing time. And it's performed so much better for me and been a lot more gentle. I just literally will pop a little bit with my finger and just get it right on my nose or any other pimple that I have going on. I've also added a few drops of tea tree oil into my bentonite clay mask. mask where I just do vinegar, bentonite clay, and a few drops of this. My skin is left feeling really nice and clean and tingly. My skincare routine in general, except for this random pimple, which is the biggest that I've had in years, knock on wood, my skincare routine lately has been doing pretty well. I am not wearing any concealer, no foundation. The only thing I got right now, I've got some very smudged very smudged eye makeup right now, some brows and sunblock, and that is it. And I'm very happy with my skin overall. I was needing this to go really soon because I had a brand video that I was working on earlier this week. This big old witch's cauldron on my nose basically. So the tea tree oil definitely helped to speed things up. So when it comes to any pimples or acne, tea tree oil has been the mainstay in my routine. So in addition to skincare, tea tree oil is also huge for me when I get bitten by bugs, and oh, do bugs love me. I went to Maine this past summer. If you guys saw my travel vlog, I went there for 2 weeks, and my boyfriend tried to warn me that the mosquitoes in Maine are not like the ones that I'm used to here in Virginia. I think I just had the scars for the most part disappear from this summer, but if I had to guess, I got bitten over 50 times, easily over 50 times. It was so bad, and they were like welts. A week ago, I think, I got bitten here back home in October. It's chilly outside, but the mosquitoes had one last hurrah for me, and I don't know if you guys will be able to see, but I've got some kind of scars fading from my bites, and it was rough. So needless to say, they love me. I hate them. I've used so many different topical options that are made specifically for anti-itch, for healing, from stopping myself from just like digging into my skin, and nothing quite does the job like my good old tea tree oil. I think I'm gonna put some on right now actually, because the last of my bites of the season hopefully are pretty much healing right here. It smells so good. I know a lot of people that I've talked to about my love of tea tree oil said they hate it. They say it smells very medicinal to them. But for me, it just smells like I'm in like a very, I don't know, like an intense spa or something. It dries very quickly. This is not in any way, shape, or form a moisturizing product at all. But already the slight bit of itching that I had is gone. So this is the one that I was like, how am I gonna explain this? Number 3 reason. So if you guys have been with me on my channel, you may know that this year I had surgery to remove some uterine fibroids. I've been dealing with them for the past few years now. So in addition to the incredibly heavy, long-lasting periods, I had 3 fibroids, and the biggest one was over 6 inches long, bigger than a soda can. It was so incredibly uncomfortable, and it was just starting to just affect everything. pH was just thrown out of balance. I would have intense itching, intense pain down there, throbbing pain depending on where I was in my cycle. It just was not a good time. So my first foray into using tea tree oil downtown was the, oh my gosh, why can't I remember the name? Honey Pot. Honey Pot has herbal sanitary napkins that I tried because they say it's very soothing, very comforting, especially when you're on your cycle. So that got me curious as things got worse with my symptoms from the fibroid. What would happen if I just put pure tea tree oil, just, you know, sprinkled it in the little panty area, and I don't use a lot, 2 to 5 little drops very sparingly in that area. Again, consult with your gynecologist, dilute, but I didn't do that, and luckily I haven't had any negative effects. I haven't. This is where we get into the toxicity portion of the disclaimer, where I know firsthand it can affect you. I would sprinkle a little bit in there, and it would just feel so nice, so cooling, very soothing. It will help with the pain relief. But if you're going to be doing this and you have a partner, make sure before you and your partner are intimate that you thoroughly bathe before they may be very well versed with the fact that you've used tea tree oil down there. They're right there. Make sure that you've washed thoroughly, because if you haven't and they come into contact with the areas of your body orally that have had tea tree oil, I hope no family member is watching this, but if they come into contact with that area and you have not washed the tea tree oil off thoroughly, and they ingest some, even a small minuscule amount, they can have very negative effects. Tea tree oil toxicity can manifest in dizziness, being very tired, like brain fog, and if it's more than that, it can lead to like a hospital visit and worse. So make sure if you're going to be using tea tree oil, again, do not do what I do and directly add it to different parts of your clothing or body directly. Make sure you dilute it, but even then, make sure that you take a nice, thorough shower, before, you know, your partner and you hug. Especially if they're going to be maybe ingesting the tea tree oil, possibly. No tea tree oil, very, very important. I've seen it firsthand. Don't do that. But other than that, I love it. It's very, very soothing, and I just use it if I'm having any sort of symptoms like that, and it works very well just when I'm not. Yeah. The fourth way that I've used tea tree oil is added directly into my hair care products. I've used a lot of things over the years that already have it in the original formulation, shampoos and conditioners, but sometimes I have a little bit of itchiness in my scalp, or I want to do like some scalp massage in the shower with the shampoo. Combined with the steam, it really feels like it opens up my pores. I don't do a scalp massage with the tea tree oil though, because as I mentioned, it's very strong. So if I'm going to be applying an oil to my scalp, I definitely, if it has tea tree oil in the formulation, use it mixed with a lot of other carrier oils and different things to help give my scalp a nice little buffer. But as far as just adding a few drops to my shampoo and conditioner, I'm going to be rinsing that out and just keeping it on my scalp for a small amount of time. It helps to knock out any sort of itchiness that I have in my scalp. I've seen it in some of my research that some people use it for dandruff relief and scalp psoriasis as well. Just a couple of drops, and I notice a really big difference. And last but not least, the fifth way that I use tea tree oil is just for general aromatherapy. As I mentioned, the scent is very polarizing. It's very subjective. I find it a lot more soothing and pleasant than even lavender, which is known to be like the relaxation scent. But for tea tree oil, I have a little bit of a headache right now because I got my Tdap shot recently so that I can babysit my little nephew. So I'm very excited about that. So since then, I felt really not good this week. I will just apply, making sure not to get it near my eyes, because this stuff is like peppermint oil. This is like alcohol, essentially. It's very, very astringent and not good for the incredibly delicate eye area. But just right here on my temples, I'll do like a little massage, little pat pat pat, and it just helps to de-stress me, which I need. I have anxiety, so I'm pretty much some level of stress almost all the time. I get my tea tree oil from different sources. There's no place that I really like any more than another. I find that 100% tea tree oil is pretty much the same across the board, but this is the Nature's Truth Aromatherapy Tea Tree 100%, perfect for diluting the 100%. Pretty much any brand that I choose, I find works the same way. I hope that this video was helpful. Let me know if you've ever used tea tree oil before. What are some of your favorite ways? If you enjoyed learning about tea tree oil and all the different ways that I use it, please give this video a thumbs up. That quick little boop, it really makes a huge difference in YouTube recommending my channel. I usually upload videos every Friday, but this is being filmed on my usual Friday, so it should be hopefully going up on Saturday. But 9 times out of 10, you'll see a new video from me every Friday with some short form content in the meantime, in between time, and I will see you very soon in the next one. Take care everyone, and thanks again for watching. Bye.